أعوذ بالله الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. This is the second part of our first lesson, which is our first module, Foundation of International Business. So we've finished the first part, and the first part basically was focusing more with what international business is, the importance, the nature, the drivers, and so on and so forth. So now the second part focuses more with globalization, al-awlama. Now, what is the meaning and dimension of globalization? So when you're talking about globalization, it refers to the increasing interconnectedness and interdependence of countries, economics, organization, and people through the movement of goods, services, capital, technology, information, and people across borders. So globalization has made national economies increasingly interconnected. Now, when you're talking about globalization, we are basically talking about two important things. We are talking about interconnectedness. Now, the world has been connected by technology. The world has been connected by the internet. So people are connected. So you can easily communicate with somebody who is 1,000 and millions miles from you. Then number two, there is the element of interdependence. Interdependence basically means we need each other. That is, I cannot live alone without you. You are my customer, and I am producing the goods. Without you, I cannot exist. So even at a country level, Somali cannot exist without Kenya, and Kenya cannot exist without Somali because we do businesses. Somali actually does what? Somali actually imports tea from Kenya, and Kenya at the same time also import meat. So this is what is known as interdependence. Interdependence. We need each other. Now, what are the key dimensions of globalization? So when you're talking about globalization, there are around 8 key dimensions. Number one, economic. So there is the increasing integration of national economies. Countries are coming together economically by forming some agreements. For example, the ECOWAS, we have the East African Community, the SADC, they have economic agreements. Trade, we have the growth in international exchange of goods and services. Financial, the movement of capital. Technology, the global spread of technology. Cultural, increasing interaction between cultures. Then, yes, please.
Sorry, Ustad, it was inconsiderate. Sorry.
Sorry? What's your question? You come late and...
No, I was not meant. It was not meant that. So it was inconfidential. So thank you. Just it.
Oh, it was okay. Okay.
Okay. Continue.
So we are also talking. So when you're talking about dimension, you're also talking about cultural, the increasing interaction between different cultures. Then we also have the political, growing international cooperation, political agreements between country A, B, and C. Then socially, there is increasing interaction among people globally, and this comes through communication. Then environmental, global interdependence regarding environmental issues and issues such as what? Issues such as climate change. For example, we have like the Paris Agreement between countries. Countries come together to see how they can actually do what? How they can protect the environment. Now, also we have some forces that are driving globalization. Just the same way you are having the forces driving international business, We are having forces that are driving globalization, هذه الدوافع that are pushing. What are those things that are pushing? What are the incentives to globalization? So number one, هناك الدوافع الاقتصادية. These are the economic forces. Now, for example, liberalization of markets. The markets have become open. You can sell something. If you're a Somali businessman, you can sell your things in Kenya, you can sell your thing in Djibouti. The market has become open. Also, people want to invest internationally, the international investments. Global competition, you want to compete with people globally. Then the growth of emerging markets. Emerging markets in developing countries there. Another force for Aulama, driving Aulama globalization, is technological forces. The internet is bringing people together. The internet is the game changer. You can easily communicate to people from different countries through the Zoom, through the WhatsApp, through the Instagram. So the internet is bringing people together. Artificial intelligence is a game changer also in the 21st century. The digital platforms, telecommunication, e-commerce. Number three, political forces. It's also a driver to globalization. We have trade agreements between countries, between regions. We have the regional integration, partnership, like the East African Community, the ECOWAS, international institution, the World Bank is trying to bring people together, the United Nations, government policies supporting trade. Also, social forces, the international migration, people are migrating, looking for opportunities in other countries. Global consumer preference, people, their needs are different. I want something I cannot find in Somali, I need to buy it in another country. Increased cultural interaction. People are there is the intermarriage. You can find a Somali marrying somebody from Kenya, a Kenya marrying a Uganda. International education. People are going to other countries to seek quality education. So this one is driving globalization to the next level. Also, we have competitive forces. So companies internationalize because they want to the access to raw materials, reduce costs, acquire resources, as we have seen earlier. Now, globalization and business performance. So what are the positive effects and the negative effects of globalization? Al-Aulama. Number one, larger markets. You're going to have customers all over the world. Higher revenues. Al-Iradat, you're going to have a lot of profits. Economics of scale. Economic of scales means you are producing a lot, and because you are producing a lot, you can be able to sell at low price. And still, it's going to reduce the cost of production. Access to international talent. You can get talent all over the world. You can get access to technology. You can innovate, and there is increased competitiveness. Now, what are the disadvantages? Of course, greater competition, because now you are not only competing domestically, but you are competing with many international companies and organizations. Increased operational complexity. So the nature of operation is very different and very complex. It's not that simple. Exposure to global crisis. If you are, for example, operating internationally, anything that happens to dollar affects your business. Anything that happens to petrol affects your business. Any decision, for example, made by America, to some extent is going to affect you. Any war, anything happening internationally is going to have an impact in your business. The currency risk, sometimes dollars go up high, the cost of exchange rate. So political risk, there is the instability in many countries, can affect your business. supply chain disruption, like the supply of wheat, the war between Russia and Iran, it affected the supply of wheat. The war now between America and the what? And Iran, it has disrupted the supply of petrol. Then also there is the cultural challenges in communication, challenges in the way of doing things, and so on and so forth. Now, globalization and developing countries and developing economies. When you're talking about developing economies, we're talking about countries in Africa. Now, this globalization, how is it helping us? The developing countries in Africa. So developing, how can we benefit as Africa? How can we benefit from this al-awlama? How can we benefit from this globalization? Number one, there is the foreign direct investment. Many countries, they will come to us and invest. In Somalia, for example, we have many investors from Turkey, from China, from the Gulf countries. They have invested a lot. So as African countries, developing economies, we are really benefiting because they come to invest in our countries, they create job opportunities. That is number two, employment creation. When they invest, they also create job for our people, those international companies and organization and the investors. Number three, there is the technology transfer. If a Chinese company comes to Somali, it is going to come with the technology. It will train the Somalis how to use the technology. Export opportunities. As developing economics, we normally export. For example, Kenya, we export tea to the developed country. So while we are exporting, we are getting money back. The Somalis, they normally export meat and they also get something, income. So the GDP of the country is going to improve. Infrastructure development, this globalization, this international business, those investors, our partners, when they come, they build the roads, they build the bridges, electricity. So we gain in terms of the infrastructure. International market access, it enables us to get access. We can easily sell our goods and services to other people in other countries. Skills development, our people can be trained. Their skills can be developed. And once their skills and talents have been developed, then we are going to have a competent workforce. Then increase government revenues. When this international business come, they have to pay for work permit, for the visa, the license. The government gets some income from tax. They are going to be taxed. So this globalization helps us. ولكن في المقابل, globalization has its disadvantages. Number one, dependence on foreign companies. Most of our countries in Africa, we depend more on these foreign companies. Then number two, unequal distribution of wealth. So for example, these investors, when they come, they invest in Mogadishu. Yet we have the other cities, the Garowe, the Ward, they're not developed. So the wealth is not distributed equally. Weak domestic industry. When the foreigners come, they weaken our industries. Or when people buy from other countries, then what is going to happen to our industries? It is going to weaken our industries. Then there is the exploitation of natural resources. When they come, they exploit our natural resources. They take our natural resources cheaply. They go, and they make or produce. For example, they take our tea from Kenya, they go and refine it, and then they sell it again to us. Then there is also environmental problems. These companies, when they invest, they pollute the environment. Then vulnerability to global economic shocks. If you're doing your business economically, any global problem is going to affect your business. Dependence on commodity exports. You know, there are some countries that they only depend on exports. They're exporting. You know, they're exporting. So they don't want to do what? The economy is just built on exports at the expense of actually the industries and factories. Now, so when you're talking about globalization, there is also the element of economic integration. So what is the meaning of economic integration? Economic integration or regional economic integration occurs when countries within a geographical region reduce or remove barriers to trade and economic cooperation among themselves. So when countries do what? Come together to build stronger and more connected economies. A good example is us in East Africa. In East Africa, you have the East African Community. So there are some agreement between member states to remove or reduce the tariffs. For example, there can be an agreement of removing the visas to facilitate trade and business. You know, so the objective of this economic organization is we need to promote trade between the member states. We need them to invest. So I can come to Somalia, you can go to Kenya, you can easily invest without any barrier. Economic cooperation, movement of goods becomes very easy and services. In some cases, even the movement of labor. For example, I'm in Somali and I came very easily because of there was no any difficulty of me traveling here, Mathalan. Now, when you're talking about economic integration, there are some concepts you need to know. Number one, free trade areas. In an exam, you can be asked, what do you mean by free trade areas? So a free trade area is an arrangement in which member countries remove or reduce trade barriers among themselves while maintaining their own trade policies towards non-member countries. Let me explain this. So for example, when you're talking of free trade areas, we have Kenya, Uganda, and Somalia. These are three countries. So these three countries, they agree, ya jamaa, when we are doing business among us, the three, let us reduce the tax, let us reduce the tariff, let us reduce the barriers. So this is an agreement between the three of us. But if Uganda is dealing with somebody who is not in who is not in that agreement, Uganda can they deal with them differently because they are not in our agreement. So if Uganda wants to deal with China, they have their own external policy dealing with China. If Somali wants to deal with Qatar, they have their own external policy. We don't deal with that. So as members, we agree internally, the three of us, let us agree on something. But if one of us want to deal with somebody who is not inside us, you have your own policy, we have our own policy. That is the meaning of this. So this one, that is the meaning of free trade areas. Number two, we have the custom union. So a custom union goes beyond a free trade area. That is, the member countries remove or reduce trade barriers amongst themselves and adopt a common external tariff. So a custom union is somehow different from what you were talking about. So in a custom union, we have three countries, Somali, Uganda, and Kenya. So number one, these countries agree, ya jamaa, when we are doing business among ourselves, let us reduce the barriers and tariffs. Also, when Uganda is dealing with another country, we should deal with them the same. If Uganda is charging China 20, Kenya will charge 20, and Somali will charge 20. So externally, it is the same. And also internally, it is the same. We have our agreement. It is the opposite of free trade areas. Free trade, internally, we have our agreement as the three countries. But when we are dealing with the other countries, it is different. But in the custom union, internally, we reduce the barrier, and also externally, we agree, Ajama, the three of us. When we are dealing with China, we deal with them the same. When we are dealing with Germany, we deal with them the same. That is the idea of a custom union. Now, number three, we have common markets. So our common markets allow free movement. So it allows free movement of goods, services, capital, and labor among member countries, in addition to reduce trade barriers. For example, the East African community has pursued common market integration. So in East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, I don't know if Somalia, are you part of the East African community? There is the free movement of goods and services. You can do business in Kenya, you can do business in Uganda without any problem. Then number three, we have the economic and monetary union. So this involves a deeper level of introduction in which countries coordinate significant economic policy. So here, for example, the three countries can decide they are going to have the same currency. Just a good example is like the European Union. When you're in the European Union, they are using one currency among all the members of the European Union. So these are the level. So number one, it is the free trade area. Number two, the custom union. Number three, we have the common market. Then you can have the economic union, like the European Union, and the monetary union, where you use the same currency. Now, the regional integration in Africa. In Africa, of course, countries have actually decided to come together. So the African Union is bringing all the countries in Africa together. The East African community, the East African part of Africa, the ECOWAS, the country in west of Africa, the SADC, the countries in the south of Africa, south. Then you have the common market for East and South Africa, which is the COMESA. So all these are unions that have been formed to enable the transfer of goods, services easily. They have been created to increase the intra-African trade, expand the market, attract investment, promote industrialization, ila ghairi dhalik. Now, what are the opportunities and challenges of regional integration? Of course, this integration between countries, it is a good thing. ولكن في المقابل هناك السلبيات, disadvantages. So the opportunities, the larger markets, increased trade, investment, all this employment creation. But also there is a difference in natural, these are the challenges. Infrastructure limitations, some countries, they don't have good roads, political differences, unequal economic development, non-tariff barriers sometimes, administrative challenges, ila ghairi dhalik. Now, this is the end of our lessons. There are some questions here. You'll try to answer these questions during your free time. So is there any question as I take the attendance? So I'll take a picture. I need to take a picture of those students who have attended, and I will share in the group. You're going out and I'm taking the attendance. Don't go out. Okay, so that's the end of our lesson. I will share this lesson in your group. I will save. I have my YouTube channel. You will find the lesson in my YouTube channel, inshallah. So thank you very much for your time. We'll meet next Thursday, inshallah.